Alright guys, welcome to episode 1 of our A to Z learning adventure, and pretty aptly we're starting on the first character in the alphabet, which is Abaddon. We're going to be doing this series in player perspective, and we're going to be watching the best players in the world play their heroes. When I say best players in the world, I mean really good players. Obviously it's subjective who is the best player. This guy's currently rank 5 on Dota buff, and he's only played about, I want to say, like 1,200 games, most of them being Abaddon, so he might be a smurf of another player, but I don't think that should influence how much we can learn from him. I think he's definitely a great Abaddon player. He's got really good stats, about a 70% win rate, so I think this is going to be a very exciting game. So we're currently in his player perspective. No, we're not. What the fuck? I clicked player perspective. Sorry guys, a bit of teething issues when we're just starting this new series. We've got it sorted now. So what we can see is that he's bought these specific items, and it looks like he's pooled 2 of his tangos to his teammates because he doesn't need that healing himself. Kind of makes sense, he is Abaddon after all. And we'll see them go bot lane by the looks of things. Yes sirree. So I don't know anything about these matches. All I do is pick the latest match of a really high skilled player, and I hope for the best. If this is like a really early Abaddon or something, I'll just obviously not upload this, but I think it's worth going in blind just for some like elements of suspense, so I don't know what's going to happen. And also it's worth going through some random Abaddon games and stuff. It's no skin off my back to just go through that, if it's going to lead to some entertaining games where I'm in suspense and I'm going to enjoy the game. If I know the results of the game before it begins, I might not enjoy it as much. So that's my just a little explanation, because this is the first video of the series. So it's a pretty hectic start. We're seeing these more and more with the new rune updates. Everyone wants to get those 00 runes. I should say the 0 timeout on the runes. And looks like Face's voice just fed our Abaddon pretty easily there. Underestimating how he can put his shield up and basically be immune to a fair few right clicks this early in the game. The shield is a very powerful skill. And I wanted to talk about some statistics in the early stages of the game because I thought it'd be, you know, a bit less hectic, but it's been pretty fucking hectic. But now we've got a little bit of time. I just want to say Abaddon's an interesting one. He is the all-time highest win rate hero in Dota. In the past couple of patches, he's been consistently placed 4th for highest win rate. So he's a pretty fucking good hero in terms of win rate. And I speculate this is down to him having lots of heals, and he's also got some damage blocks, and he's just a really nice team player. And he's also very survivable in his ultimate. Also has like a basically haha you can't kill me for like 7 seconds with an Aghanims. So yeah, he's pretty fucking strong. And it's exciting to see him. Despite his high win rate, we don't actually, well, I don't actually see him too frequently in pro games or pub games. He's certainly not unheard of, but he's not one of the most popular ones given his win rate, which is interesting to see. So during the series we're going to keep it on his player perspective. This might be not the most entertaining thing at times, but I think this is the best learning thing you can do. You should have some like normal casts where you've got free camera, you can see everything, and some where you can just see the player's perspective, especially if you're personally a lower tier skill, because you can see how they move their camera, you can see what they do with their mouse, and you can just pick up lots of little things that you wouldn't pick up in a normal cast without their perspective. So yeah, he's getting dived pretty hard here. He's getting some heavy harassment on the enemy, but it's just by himself at level 1. He can't really transition that into kills. But you can see he got pretty damn close. You don't really want to mess with a level 1 Abaddon, Jesus. Just looking at his base damage, is that 65 base damage? Wow. And yeah, there's Void. Okay, he got out of there safely, but it did seem pretty risky for the Void. And in the true spirit of being player perspective and trying to learn by watching what the player does, we've got the fog turned just so we can see the Dyer's fog. Is that right? Just so we can see our buddy's fog, basically, as if we're on his team. There are a few issues with this, but it's the best we're going to get, so yeah, I decided to do that rather than have like free reign of all the vision and stuff, just so we don't have an unfair advantage when we see a ward, and it might be frustrating to constantly like see him walk past the ward or something like that. So I think this is best ultimately. So for his item builds, we can see he's bringing a ring, gives him a nice bit of armor and the mana regen for him and his team. Gives them the armor for his team as well. So what a good team player we've got here, and also a magic stick. I imagine the stick's based on his enemy's composition. They've got a Skywrath mage who likes to spam his abilities quite frequently. The Void's going to blink every now and then, I guess, although he's probably not the best person to get a stick against individually. And Abaddon's high speed might get this kill, but it doesn't look like it, because Skywrath also has high speed, and our Abaddon doesn't have his boots yet. If he had boots, I think that would have been a certain kill, but unfortunately he does not in this instance. Maybe something he's regretting at this point, but at the very least they've heavily harassed him, and they've let get some tower damage from that. And they're forced out of the lane, so they're not getting any experience from this creep wave. Although Void's coming back, fairly risky, but it doesn't look like they can benefit from him coming around at such low hit points. So yeah, I haven't really done much player perspective viewing before. I've done quite a bit, and it's really enjoyable. I've never done it with the fog turned off, which I think is definitely better. But it is quite unfortunate that we can see like the enemy team on the minimap. I'm not excited about that. That's kind of very much against having, you know, fog. But we'll have to learn to ignore it. We are at an unfair advantage over our buddy. You can see him here using his shield tactically to help his buddy rather than himself, which is I mean, a pretty obvious play, but one that a lot of players don't necessarily think to do, especially in the lower MMRs. I'm not entirely sure what the MMR of this game is. I'm going to suspect it's somewhat high. Probably not like in the 6Ks, but maybe in the high 5Ks. I'm complete speculation here, I shouldn't really do that, but I think we've got pretty high skilled players here anyway. Given that he's got a pretty good win rate and a lot of games played.
I don't think so.
The prize is mine.
So it doesn't look like it's a particularly great game for him at this point in the game. It's pretty much, I'd say, an even start. He hasn't been, you know, roaming around getting lots of kills. He's been getting terrible experience, honestly, and pretty bad gold. But he's kind of playing like the support to the invoker, so it's fair play. I say that as he gets lost of last hit, so I'm not entirely sure what the dynamic of this team is. But I think he's pretty much... he's not stealing all the last hits. He hasn't been focusing on that during the game. It feels like they're kind of sharing them, which is kind of humorous to see, but I don't know, man. That's their strategy, I guess. I didn't really take a look at the team lineups. I think I'm going to start looking at the drafting and stuff for these games. But in this instance, this player pretty much only plays Abaddon, or in recent history he's only played Abaddon. So I thought, like, there's not much point speculating and analysing the counter picks of the teams if, you know, he's always going to pick the same hero anyway. And can we seriously see that ward? I hope one of them has vision or something. Oh, this is fucking shit. This is really bad. If the replay lets us see wards and stuff, what the fuck does turning fog off even do? It's literally just the visual of the fog on the map. That's kind of dumb. I'm sorry about that. I dislike that very much. If I'm just being an idiot here and you guys know how to like turn the vision of the enemy team and the wards off and stuff, I'd really love if you could give me feedback on that. But I've heard that it's problematic, so I'm assuming that that feature isn't available, which is a shame. Hopefully they'll add that one day. It's something we can just ignore though. Although it's something you have to be aware of. If you're gonna like critique gameplay, or especially if you're gonna critique his gameplay in this game, you're fine to do that, but you've got to remember that he hasn't got the knowledge that you do from watching this. You can't just say like, oh, for fuck's sake, why are you standing there? They've got a ward there. He doesn't necessarily know they've got a ward there, especially in that location, which seemed a bit atypical. I'm in no way defending any of the players that I'm watching, by the way. I'm picking just semi-random high ranked players in the Dota buff thing. The system isn't flawless. Some of them might be Smurf accounts and stuff. I'm just picking players that seem like they might be interesting. Players of like high KDAs, maybe just something that's exciting that makes me feel like watching them is worth it. Don't all go too into the process, but I actually did try and record an Abaddon game before this, and it was one of the higher ranked Abaddon players, and then he started like all chat flaming the enemy team, and I was like, oh, I feel bad talking over this because this is kind of like embarrassing to watch. So that's why I decided this one. No, I won't see what player it was. I think everyone all chats at certain times, but as a player, I don't really like watching that go down. Sometimes it can be funny, but I don't know, it felt a bit cringy for me. Plus the game wasn't particularly good. I mean, he was all chatting because he was kind of raging because the game was going shit, and it wasn't really an entertaining game. That's the main reason I did it. There probably are going to be quite a lot of instances. Going through all 108 heroes, if I didn't make that clear, we're doing all 108 heroes in this series. There probably are going to be instances of games that are less than perfect, and also games where really weird shit happens. Maybe people are going to all chat rage, and you know, shit like that's going to go down. I'm going to be a bit selective and maybe do a few games of each hero and just only upload the best one. But sometimes that stuff might be, you know, humorous enough or interesting enough to just upload regardless of it being, you know, atypical of a normal game. So it looks like he's building it into phase boots. He doesn't really have any farm to write home about at the moment, but I don't think Abaddon's a hugely farm dependent hero. I might be wrong on this. I'm a really low MMR player, I really should say. And the point of these videos is for me to learn, and maybe you guys can learn while you're here. Because basically, if I wasn't commentating over this, I'd still be watching it. I think watching replays and player perspective is an invaluable resource to getting better at Dota. So yeah, basically I'm just doing what I was going to do, and then if you guys happen to enjoy watching it, that's brilliant. And if you guys learn something from it, that's fantastic. And if you guys learn something or spot something that I did not spot, and you can leave that in the comments, that would make my day. That would be truly fantastic. So you can see from the skill build he's going full shield, and then he's getting his nice passive which is going to slow enemies down, speed him up. It does all sorts of shit. Let's just mouse over that quickly. Careful not to accidentally mouse over the time, because I truly don't know what time the game ends. So let's have a little read. It slows their movement down, it slows their attack speed down, it speeds up his move speed, and it speeds up his attack speed. That's pretty great. I don't know what the cooldown of this actually is. Does it even say anywhere? It doesn't look like it does. I know the debuff lasts for 2.5 seconds and the buff lasts for 4.5 seconds. I think it's just constantly available and it just applies to enemies every single time you hit them. That must be the case, yes. I'm curious if the shield's gonna block Maledict. I think it did, yeah. It seemed to block the damage from Maledict. It must block, I think it blocks like nearly every type of damage, maybe all types of damage. So it's very powerful. And he just leveled up his ultimate right then, which probably, well, almost definitely saved his life, which I'm sure he's very pleased about. So I'm not sure what he's building into next. He's got a glove. Maybe it's going to be an urn? I really can't say. An urn does seem kind of sensible though. I mean, he's got lots of healing, why not add a bit more? Plus a nice little bit of pure damage to throw on enemies, block their blink daggers. It's just a really nice item in general. I could be completely wrong though. He's a strength hero, it builds into a lot of good strength items. So, plus he has an urn on his team anyway. Is Marona on his team? Yeah, she is. Okay, so it's probably not an urn. I guess the team is important to see if he's going to be going more for like a support role or more of a hard carry role. I'm sure Abaddon isn't often used as a hard carry, but you know, based on a certain team, maybe he'll feel more inclined to go hard carry than he would otherwise. This team doesn't seem to be. I mean, this team doesn't lack carries. I mean, it kind of does, but not totally. Invoker, Storm Spirit, they all have late game potential, really. Not really great, but certainly they'll still be useful late game.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
So I wish I was smart enough to know what item he's building. I recognise the items, but I can't really remember what they actually build into. I didn't know there's an item that goes into. I still kind of think it might be the urn. The more I think about it, I'll just have to wait and see what it is, though. So this exchange is really interesting to me because the bat's really good at 1 versus 1. But can he take down an Abaddon? Not when he's got support Mirana, and it actually turned into a very easy turnaround kill there. He's going to be grateful for his ally to come in to save his ass there. And he also got an urn charge on him. And yeah, with the second bracer, I think I'm fairly certain this is an urn, which is interesting since he's already got one on his buddy, but maybe there's a bit of miscommunication there. Maybe he just doesn't give a shit. Maybe he thinks, okay, urn's such a good item, I don't even care if she's got one, I want one as well. It's gonna be great. It's gonna like not fall into uselessness until very late game. 400 healing and 150 pure damage is pretty good, especially early, but still, even late, it's not terrible. Considering you've got a 950 range on that thing, so I mean, you can use it at times where you typically can't use the skills, especially on Abaddon. I mean, all of his skills are melee ranged. Am I right? No, not at all. Not melee range, but they're not 950 range certainly. Plus, he doesn't even have any points in miss call at the moment. Kind of glossing over that team fight. It seemed he did all he could. He put a shield on his buddy, and it was just a pretty nasty team fight for his team. They're determined not to let them push though, and they might even try and go for a pick off here. And yeah, it looks like they're going to get at least one. Although that's really put the scare in them here. He doesn't have his ultimate for a fair while, but it's not going to stop him from going in with his shield. Shield makes him feel immortal, and rightly so. Although maybe you shouldn't walk over fire, buddy. And it's interesting. He's got his ultimate, but he'd rather just go TP to base, get his items, and regenerate in a more safe manner than, you know, wasting his ultimate. And did he really just finally update the courier? I don't know if he just glossed over that and it's already been done. I haven't been paying attention. I'm apologising if that was actually... Yeah, I'm not going to rewind the video because I don't want to accidentally look at the time, and I don't want you guys to look at the time. I can't really edit these videos during the because of the software I'm using. I'm probably going to start using better software. I'm kind of dumb for keeping this streaming stuff when I'm not even streaming, but in this video we cannot edit, so I don't want to, you know, get any information that you guys can see, and then it might ruin the viewing experience for you guys. So we notice he's picking up a Morbid Mask. I know Vlad's is very common on Abaddon. I don't quite understand the synergy. In no way am I saying it's a bad item, but I don't personally understand like why it's better than other items. I guess it's a really nice aura for a hero that's already providing, you know, a lot of support. And he always wants to be in the fray of a team fight. He always wants to be around his buddies, and I suppose it'll let him farm a little bit easier in the jungle and stuff. So I can certainly see it. I think lifesteal's good on many carries, so fair enough. Although I was just like checking, and I saw it was like the most commonly built item on him. I wasn't quite sure why that was, over, I don't know, like phase boots or something, but I guess we're gonna find out in this game. I haven't really seen much Abaddon at all because, as I said, he's not too popular in my pub games, and I don't see him very frequently in the pro games either.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And yep, it looks like he is rushing his Vlads. Vlad's is a really good item, to be fair. I mean, it's got like plus 15% damage, just a raw percentage increase, which is great. It scales into the late game because it's percentage based. The lifesteal's really nice. It's an aura. It means your team don't have to get a lifesteal item if they require it to stay alive and stuff. You really are like the all healing, all survive giving hero. And he's very survivable, but it looks like he's getting pretty focused down now. They did waste a lot of ultimates. I shouldn't say waste, but they used a lot of skills to take him down there, which means his team are at a slightly better position if they want to cause some ruckus against the enemies now. But they are highly focused in one area, so perhaps they don't want to go push them. They'd rather just push a lane, although we are getting some counter teleports to deal with that. And it's really interesting watching from a player's perspective, because especially a good player, because you're going to see how they utilize their time alive. I mean dead, rather. Like, if they're dead for 60 seconds, they're not going to try and get a cheeky wank in. Wow, that was a bad joke. Instead, they're going to actually inspect the enemy teams, see what items they have, see what they're currently doing, see where they next need to be. Like, oh god, bottom's being pushed pretty heavily, I should go there and defend that. Maybe deny the tower if it's in range. So, yeah. I think it's interesting to, you know, find out, like, they aren't just, like, going AFK when they're dead. They're actually making use of that time. And that's obviously a very good thing to get into, a good habit to start doing if you don't already do that. And we finally see a point in Miscoil after maxing the other skills. I think Miscoil is a really good skill, but I mean, perhaps it isn't as good early game as the other ones. I'm not too sure. Perhaps it's not the playstyle that you wanted to play in this game. I don't think he's had like the biggest game impact that an Abaddon could have in this game, but he hasn't. At the same time, he hasn't been particularly bad either. He's been doing you know, a fair amount of work. And he has been pretty underformed, so maybe we're going to see him, you know, show his face a little bit more frequently as the game progresses. This skill is actually a really cool skill. It's very interesting because it does self-damage, but you have a shield that pops after a certain amount of damage, and you also have an ultimate that you heal every time you take damage. So, I mean, the synergies are very plain and obvious, not subtle. But it's nice to go, oh my god, a courier. He just couldn't outspeed that courier, but it seemed like they were kind of trolling him with that. It was like right in his face. Maybe that was an elaborate lure. Or maybe they made a mistake and were like, oh fuck. It must have been a lure because it couldn't have been possibly going to one of their players. So that's very interesting to see, actually. He didn't fall for it though. I think I would have fell for that. I would have went straight for, oh my god, free courier! But he has the patience of a saint to not try and get that. It was definitely in his vision as well. It was like right in his face. We've got a BKB on the Shadow Fiend already. It's actually kind of interesting watching in player perspective, because if he doesn't click on the enemies, we're not going to get the information of their items. So we're kind of playing in the same amount of knowledge that this guy is, in many respects. And it just goes to show that even this good player not clicking on his enemies frequently enough to be aware of their items. I mean, you could argue that he was probably aware of what they're going to build, and also maybe he's not as affected by them as maybe another hero would be. That's a pretty nice chronosphere there. He just got both of them, but he's providing the shield and the heal to his buddy, putting himself in a vulnerable position, but of course he's got the ultimate to survive for a little bit longer. And yeah, even again he's using the shield on his buddy just to make sure that he stays alive. Maybe he sees him as a more valuable component to this team fight, or to the game in general, and maybe he just understood that he wasn't going to die. And indeed he didn't. So yeah, it was a very good exchange on Abaddon's team, and he played no small part in that. He played a very significant role in that team, and we're seeing double earn action here. I don't know if that stacks. I've got no idea if that stacks. I'm going to assume that it does, based on them both using it. But I've never seen that before, because I mean, it's rare to see two people get earns. It's kind of cool though, if it does stack, that's 800 healing, like instantly. Well, not instantly, but you know what I mean. Pretty quick. And very frequently as well. You'll notice that, like any good player, he's keeping his urn at 0. Because there's a little thing that not everyone knows about the urn. Every time you kill a player, you get 1 charge of it. But if it's at 0, you get 2 charges. I should correct myself there. Every time a player dies within an AoE around you, you get the charge. So if you keep it at 0 constantly, you get double the amount of charges, which is like really, really good. Obviously, it's like doesn't need to be stated how good that is compared to 1 charge. So yeah, if you use urn, you should definitely consider just using it for the damage more frequently if it's going to put you at 0, because basically if you're at 2 and you use it once to heal and then you someone dies, you're not getting anything out of that extra charge. If you use it to heal and then use it to damage someone as well, you're just getting free damage. It's a nice way of looking at it. So yep, just a small little comment there. You should always keep that at 0. I mean, I'm sure there's niche cases where you just want to build it up, just to really heal up after a team fight and allow you to push a tower while the enemy are mostly dead. But in general, you want to keep it at 0. We're seeing a ghost walking invoker, which kind of went the wrong way there. Perhaps could have led to a kill there, although the bat is very highly evasive, so potentially not. So we're seeing his camera flicker over to his allies every now and then. He's not just completely focused on his immediate area around him, which is it's a good trait to have. As you play more and more Dota, you need to be aware of the map more than just in your immediate area. Although of course you need to be aware of your immediate area as well, and balancing those is key to being good at the game, I guess. That was a very underwhelming Witch Doctor bouncy shot. When you only get 1 bounce of those, that's a very disappointing time. It's kind of interesting they've got a very classic pub stomping strategy going on here. They've got the Void Chronosphere with the Skywrath ultimate and the Witch Doctor ultimate. Both of those ultimates do a huge amount of damage to static targets. So yeah, it's very nice to see. We've seen the Skywrath get his ultimate off a few times. Don't think we've personally seen the Witch Doctor yet. I apologise for coughing. There's your Witch Doctor ultimate now. Healing or Abaddon. Although I guess it got in at a time where it did a bit of damage as well. Fair play. I shouldn't critique him too much. Yeah, I apologise for coughing and maybe if I've done any sniffling in this. I am suffering from a cold. I'm on the back end of it though. It's starting to get a lot better than it used to be. So hopefully it's not too obnoxious. I don't think it will be. But I do apologise because again I can't edit. So this team fight went extremely well in Abaddon team's favour, and indeed we might get a team wipe here. A clever use of Chrono and a very nice bash means maybe not. But I think he was waiting for Invoker to get the kill, and then he didn't try and get it. So I think there's a bit of face palming going on after that exchange. Because I think if they both just right-clicked him, they would have got the kill. Maybe they anticipated the EMP going off before the teleport, but yeah, that was certainly a mistake. So he's getting a Sandra Nyasha here. Interesting choice. It's going to give him a lot of movement speed, it's going to get him more slows on the enemy, and it looks like he's just building lots of movement speed and lots of slow based on this, which is, cool. It stacks up his passive ability. It's going to make him somewhat of a racehorse. He's going to cripple the enemy. And it's going to allow him to chase people down really good while debuffing them for his team to also chase them down. And it doesn't look like he's getting out of this. No, he's not. Despite trying quite hard and tanking quite a bit of it. At least he's just got he pretty much led the Faceless Void to his death. And it's arguably worth it for Abaddon to die for a Faceless Void in this team lineup. So yep, I'm sure he's not too disappointed with how that went. And they're probably going to get this tower. Almost certainly going to get this tower, even though they've used the glyph. Although I shouldn't say certainly, because the ultimate has worn off at this point. That was a very easy 2 kills, and shit, they might even transition yourself to the high ground, maybe even get a tier 3.
Bottom tower has fallen.
2 of them are dead, I mean 3 of them are dead for quite a long time here, so it would be nice to see them make better use of their time, but I think they're just playing it extremely safe. Get a bit of cheeky farm. And yeah, I guess they're not dead for particularly long. It is long in this early stages of the game, but 30 seconds dead isn't a huge amount of time, to be fair. Not when you're talking about pushing high ground with this hero lineup that doesn't have particularly super fast tower damaging, you know, capabilities. When the Death Prophet ultimate isn't on cooldown, or is on cooldown rather. So they're just going to be happy with the exchange there. They got lots of kills, and they did end up pushing a tier 2. So yep, certainly not bad for Abaddon's team. It's actually looking pretty good for him at this moment. Although a lot of the action went down when he wasn't actually there. And here we're seeing his massive slows come into play. He's chasing down Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend can't do shit. You can just try and limp away. Maybe if his team comes and gets some stuns, some bashes. He's saved Shadow Fiend temporarily, but Abaddon isn't going to die yet. And all he can do is just shield and heal his buddy. Using the ultimate seems a bit interesting here. Although with the Abaddon, she's actually surviving. I thought for certain that she was going to drop dead. I thought maybe she was going to get some spirit damage on them. Maybe even pick one of them off. But I had no idea that she was actually going to live through that. So that's pretty exciting to see. That's true Abaddon play there. Tons of healing, tons of shields. You ain't going anywhere, sweetheart. You're staying alive. And we're going to use this ultimate while it's still active to take down this tier 2. That's pretty beautiful to see, and it's looking like pretty dominating performance from Abaddon's team here.
Top tower has fallen.
I'm glad I picked this game. And he picked up a cheeky Hyperstone. I didn't even notice that he did that. I was thinking, holy shit, his attack speed is suddenly very quick. But it's from the Hyperstone. And here we just got a quick glance at the kills and stuff. I'm not sure if I can personally open that myself. Let's have a quick check. I kind of think I won't be able to. Oh, of course I can. Yeah, cool. So let's just have a quick check while there's not much action going on. So he's got 12 assists and 6 kills with 4 deaths. That's definitely a very nice performance. His Invoker's actually got 17 assists. It's really interesting because you can tell they've been doing a lot of team fighting, because they've all, well, a lot of them have got way more assists than they do have actual kills. Because of all getting involved in the kills in there. They're kind of sharing the kills somewhat evenly, excluding the Invoker. So yep, it's interesting to see. If the pause does go on too long, I will fast forward it. But we're going to give him a little bit of time here. And it looks like they're unpausing it. Who's unpausing it? But right there, so seems like a dick move. The enemy team's unpausing it. It's always unpleasant to see. But I mean, Invoker's back, so fair enough, actually. I didn't even notice he came back. And it's understandable to be impatient, especially when you're losing quite heavily. But the game's certainly not won yet. At this point in the game, it's certainly not won. So that's all the more reason to be eager to get back into the game and, you know, try and turn it around for the team that is currently losing. So, Hyperstone. Curious. I imagine he's going to be building that into a Majorna, or however you pronounce that, Force Hammer. The extra attack speed is going to be nice for applying his debuffs. It's just a generally nice stat item as well. I'm not sure if the lightning triggers will also apply the debuff. I'm going to guess no, but that's pure speculation. But you can see just Hyperstone alone is speeding up his farm significantly, allowing him to clear creep waves, which would be nice for pushing and anti-pushing, which we're seeing being demonstrated right now. So he's not particularly the greatest farmer in the universe, but he's not the worst either. Not with this current item build he's got going on. I should mention, we're doing all 108 heroes, and we're going to do it in them order. But there may be times where certain heroes have very distinct playstyles, like different playstyles. Like maybe they've got one where they go solo mid, one where they go jungling. And I'm not going to say we're going to do every single time we're going to do all playstyles they have. But in some instances, especially if it's a hero I enjoy or I feel like the different playstyles are worth exploring, we might look at different games where the hero is played completely differently. I wouldn't say Abaddon's class is one of those heroes. I'm sure most heroes can be played in very different ways. You can play like an Abaddon mid if you're crazy enough and the team just happens to be, you know, perfect for that. But that's certainly not like a very common thing to see. So it's just going to be up to me when I do that. If you guys have like a really strong inclination, like you think like it'd be really entertaining to watch a specific game, I'd also appreciate that. As long as it's a high skilled game that will be, you know, informative and useful rather than just like a raffle stop. Yeah, I think that'd be really good. I'd love you guys to send me those replays. It could even be your own game. The only thing I'd ask is like your MMR is pretty high, and it's not just for you. I want to see a high MMR game so I can be assured that your allies and your opposition are going to be high skilled. Because again, I don't want to raffle stomp. Even if you are like, if you're like 2k MMR, and let's just pretend that you're actually like a 6k MMR player, because I'm sure a lot of people actually think they are that. I'm not making fun of people here, but even then, I don't want to watch it just because it's going to be 2k MMR players plus one really good player, and that's not going to be informative or, well, it probably will be very entertaining, but it won't be as informative as just, you know, averagely high skilled players. Everyone's pretty good, which is the case for, you know, a typical high MMR game, with some exceptions obviously. Sometimes you just get really shit players or exceptionally good ones, such is life. And I'm completely an idiot. Of course he's not building the Major thingy, he's building the Assault Cuirass. I completely forgot that was a thing, and that makes so much more sense than what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, okay, I'm really dumb. It's a very, very nice item actually. It makes a lot of sense on Abaddon. He doesn't have particularly high base armor, or agility, so it's going to give him a lot of armor, and more importantly probably, it's going to give him a nice aura for his allies to have nice armor, which, you know, he's going to be in a lot of team fights. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I apologise for, you know, flubbing that so hard. That was such an obvious thing as well, that he was going to get it before the Assault Cuirass over the Majorda thing. I was just thinking, like, this guy hasn't got much farming capabilities. He must be going for a farming item, but that was, of course, you know, dumb. So please no flame. I feel really, like, kind of embarrassed for that. That was such a, like, an obvious mistake as well. I guess you could feasibly get a Magellan thingy on him rather than a, well, maybe not, maybe get both. But yeah, okay, my bad. Let's move past it. We're seeing him get some farm from the jungle now. He wants to finish off this Assault Cuirass, and I think more importantly, he doesn't want to go push solitarily because he's going to get killed. Or, I mean, nothing. He doesn't want to cause any action now. He's perfectly happy the way the game's going, is my guess right now. He thinks if I can farm like a full jungle, why the hell wouldn't I? I might as well just use this time. If they're not going to be pushing our towers, I don't have to instigate going onto a high ground push. That's way too hard. Until maybe we all feel, you know, compelled to do it together. And Death Prophet's ultimate is up. In fact, everyone's ultimate is up. So yeah, it looks like he's just thinking, okay, we might as well get some farm. Wait for something to kick off like this. And is he going to be heading over? He's pretty far away. By the time he gets here, it's probably going to be over. But he's moving in this general direction, just to pick off anyone at the end. Maybe heal up his allies at the end. And yeah, he's realised that it's pretty much over at this point. Maybe he can go down mid, maybe pick off the two remaining players. He's pretty strong. I don't know if he could take... Well, probably not, to be honest. Not a Shadow Fiend and a Batrider, but... while they're weak, he can definitely push this lane a little bit and, you know, just be a general nuisance. It's 2 versus 2 now, so he does have to be careful. If he does feed the enemy, then they have a better position to, you know, push his lanes and maybe take one of his towers. And we've got a close eye on top, and it looks like one of them are going to be pushing top, and our buddy's being caught without a teleport, so you can't do much to go stop that immediately. Although it actually looks like they're teleporting me to stop him, so kind of humorous exchange there. And okay, he's going to be safe in the engines. I think he does have vision of them. It looks like he does have vision. I think he's got a ward in mid. I'm pretty sure he does. So, okay, he saw them coming out of the vision, or I think it was just a creep wave rather than a ward. Sorry about that. But he saw them coming up, and he thought, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. We can leave this last creep. We're not too bothered about it, even because it's their side of the river. It's their ancient stack, so we don't need it to be really stacked up, like big. Like this might hurt their carries, such as Faces Void, more than it's gonna hurt our team. So we're happy to, just fuck this up. And of course, the priority was just, not dying. And it looks like he's finished off his Assault Cuirass and he's getting it transported to him immediately. And that's going to make the next little battle exchange go really nice in his favour. He's actually caught himself not in the fray of most of the battles that have been going on recently, which, is definitely a negative thing for an Abaddon. But I think that might just be the enemy tactically, starting fights when they don't see him. And he's certainly been making good use of the time. Getting some nice farm. And it looks like they're smoked up and they're going to go down mid. Just by, yeah, it looks like it, okay. But it looks like they've been immediately spotted though, seeing that they've lost their invisibility. I'm not sure how they were spotted, but... Oh, they did very good to escape that. Not only escape it, but also, get the tornado on Void and pretty much ruin his ultimate. He didn't get a lot out of the ultimate at all, not as much as he expected to get at, I'm certain. But with lots of BKBs coming out, it's a very tough fight for our team. Although they're doing a great job just picking them off one by one. Geometry Sight, who's going to pick that up? Storm Spirit, pretty good choice, very elusive hero. Our buddy Abaddon would probably also be a nice choice if you just dropped his one for it, but I think Storm's also it's a very nice choice as well. Plus he didn't seem to have to drop 9 for it, so fair play. Maybe Abaddon's not even the best choice. He's inarguably extremely survivable, but because of that he's often finding himself in the front lanes, so maybe not the best choice for something such as a gem. Certainly not one when the enemy team doesn't even have invisibility in the first place. It's basically just like a counter gem. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they just dropped that off in the base just to keep it safe. If it gets off far, because it looks like they've just got some free barracks at this point in the game, and the game's looking very final now. This looks like a huge, significant team fight that's went in the favour of Abaddon. It'll be interesting to see if they go straight for the tier 4s here, or they pick off another barracks. Because they certainly need to do some action rather than run away, because they need to make use of this time. And it looks like they're going to get some barracks, maybe even get mega creeps. Well, unlikely to get mega creeps, but they're, another barracks, very significant, and it's going to make this team very difficult to win for the enemy team now. And they might just fight near the fountain, try and pick them off one by one if they're too reckless. It's pretty common to see even high skill games, because people are eager to defend. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Roommate just popped in. We've got 2 cats, and we feed them. Wow, I'm too embarrassed over what that little exchange actually was. It's just I feel so like naked without having a capability to edit this. It feels too live, man. Anything could happen. But yeah, as we were saying, they've took down 2 barracks, and they're probably gonna barrel down the bottom lane and take this third one. Although I guess I shouldn't say that. I think they're gonna play this safe. They've got no reason to barrel down. It's gonna push the creep wave and be a general nuisance. The super creeps are gonna do a significant job themselves. They're gonna push very heavily on the 2 lanes, and they're going to require defending, which is going to, you know, open up the bottom lane to be easily attacked. And because they're already at quite an advantage in the kills and presumably in the farm, although we're not too familiar with the farm, we can just assume that it's going to be pretty difficult to defend this. Let's restate that. It should be extremely difficult to defend against this. And the reduced gold they're going to get for killing the creeps is also going to significantly, you know, slow down their farm, which was already probably subpar compared to this team. And I guess Abaddon is quite a nice tower pusher because, like, no matter what way you look at it, he's got like 7 seconds of true immortality as long as he pops his ultimate. So I guess you can still stun lock him and stop him from getting a lot of tower damage, but you know, if he's at your tower with an armor debuff and he's just smacking away, he's going to get some damage off on it. And yeah, there's the mega creeps. Abaddon distracted and killed while the team got their mega creeps, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a GG here, although I guess that's not too typical in pub games. It's just going to be accepted that it's over though. Yeah, I can't see them coming back from this. It was a pretty good game, to be honest. He got a fuck ton of kills and assists, I think mostly assists, but that's fair play for somewhat of a support hero, a strength support hero. And looks like they're being pretty trolley. They're doing a bit of fountain diving. They know the game's won, and he's actually made sure that his buddy didn't die to the fountain diving. It's kind of interesting to see an Abaddon during a fountain dive, because he doesn't give a shit. He's alive for 7 seconds here, and he's getting healed rapidly by the fountain, so it's actually a good thing. So it's pretty amusing. If you want to play Abaddon, it might be an amusing hero to play, specifically at the end when you're already winning. You just go, haha, I'm going to tower dive you now. Especially if you tank the fountain for your more DPS oriented heroes. So yep, that was a very enjoyable game for me. I think that's a good start to the series, and it's something that we're going to try and mimic in a future game. I didn't even go into that, but we are going to try and play every game we cast. We're going to watch a hero played, and now we're going to try and mimic. We're going to go roughly for the same items that he's went to, in the same order, same skill build, same lane, and you know, try and mimic it to the best of our abilities. Some things might be different because of team lineups and, you know, bad skill, but generally we're going to try and mimic this. So I can expect some of you guys might only watch the casts, some of you guys might only watch the plays, some of you guys might not watch anything. You might watch this and go, oh god, this is awful, I hate this guy. Is he British? Oh Jesus Christ, he's British, fuck this shit. But pretty self-deprecating there. British is great. All Dota players are British, right? There's like one guy that's not too bad. Right, this is went to shit. This is not having an editing capability. Should have stopped ages ago. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. The next video is going to be Alchemist. As I said, it's A to Z. We're not going to skip any hero. We're going for the unheard heroes. Alchemist, who is he? Wasn't he relevant like 4 years ago? Nope, he actually wasn't. He's always been irrelevant. Why am I still going? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and please do tune in next time if you enjoy this. Bye.